Hey everyone, now that we've gone through a few of the basic videography principles, we're going to move into the more practical exercise portion of the day, where you learn how to make your very first video project. You're going to do this using only your smartphone and an app called InShot. This is available to all different phone platforms. You can make some really great projects using just a smartphone, and you're still going to use all of the video principles that we talked about earlier. Now, like we described earlier, one of the first things that you're going to want to do when you start a project is you're going to want to plan out the different shots that you'll need to get in order to have effective sequencing to tell your story. Start by making a list. Consider all the different shot types that you're going to need to get. Every event is different, so try to plan accordingly based on the specific event that you're going to be covering. Some key shots that you're going to want to consider is your establishing shot, different medium shots, close-ups, B-roll, and interviews. When you first start filming for a video, some of the shots that are nice to knock out first are the establishing shots. As we've already talked about before, this lets the viewer know where the event or the action is going to take place, and it also gives them some context for the story that you're trying to tell. Some good ideas for establishing shots are outside of the building where the event is taking place, or maybe in front of a sign that lets the viewer know where we are, or even just a large group of people getting ready for training. It's also important during this planning process to establish contact with the person who is in charge of the event. They can be a great resource for you, and you can ask them for a schedule for the day or just an idea of where you need to be in order to capture the best shots to tell the story that you want to tell. They're also a great resource for finding really good interview subjects. Once the action begins, you'll need to start building your shot variety. Remember to think in sequences and capture multiple pieces of what's going on, thinking in terms of wide, medium, and close-up shots. Make sure to get different angles and show things from a new and interesting perspective. Remember the 180 rule and be sure to stay on one side of the action to preserve the continuity of the scene. You can do your interviews at any time during the day, but you'll most likely find yourself conducting them after the event so that they can discuss it and how they felt about what happened. Try to interview key personnel and get different perspectives so that you can tell the story more fully. You'll also need to consider where you do your interviews. Try to find a quieter place with plenty of natural light, and always consider your background. This background, for example, is not very eye-catching and it's a little bit messy. This is also shooting into the light, and it produces a lot of shadows on the subject's face, which isn't very flattering. Once we moved to where the light lit the subject and the background was nicer, it produced a much stronger visual. Here's a side-by-side of those two. The types of questions that you ask are key to getting a strong interview for your video. Some questions I always like to ask are, what did you do here today? That's a good general question, and if you get a good answer, it's a good way to start your video by explaining what the event was all about through the eyes of somebody who experienced it. Another question I like to ask is, what was your favorite thing from that day? That's a fun question because they'll be talking about something that they enjoyed, and if you have good B-roll to go along with it, it makes for a really nice pairing in your video. Another question that I find myself asking a lot is, how did you feel about so-and-so? Of course, it just depends on the event that you're shooting, but feeling questions are great because it gets people to think on a more intimate level, and if you get a good emotional response from them, then it's a good way to end the video, especially for things like promotions or change of commands or things of that nature. Another thing to keep in mind when preparing your interviewee is to ask them to stay away from acronyms. Now in the Army, we love acronyms and we use them a lot, but we just want our videos to be relatable to people that aren't in the military. So just ask them to describe it in a way that their mom could understand it. Once you have all your footage collected, it's time to go into InShot and start editing your video. Once you've downloaded the app InShot, go ahead and open it up. Click Create New Video, and then press New. Go ahead and select all that you want, and just keep in mind that it will import them in the order that you click them. So if you shot out of order and you know what order you want them on your timeline, then go ahead and put them in order now. Once you have them all selected, click the green check mark, and this will automatically import them into your video. As you see at the bottom here, these are all the clips dragged in the order that you selected them, and they are unedited. As you can see, this is the timeline at the bottom. I'm scrolling through the footage now so that you can get an idea for what it'll look like. InShot makes it easy to split the clips and delete the excess. As you can see, I just split that clip and deleted the part that I didn't want. The first thing that you'll do with every video project is most likely go through all of your clips and cut them down to the length that you want them. So right here, as I'm working on this interview, InShot has a really cool new feature called Extract Audio, which I'm going to show for you now. Originally in this app, you weren't really able to layer audio. However, with this new feature, that's something that has changed. Now you can actually split your interview clips and take portions of the audio and put them later over certain B-roll, and that'll make sense here in just a second. As you can see, I just clicked the volume button. Within that volume button, I just clicked Extract Audio. What that does is it makes a separate audio layer of the video file. That Extract 01 is the audio file of the video layer that's just underneath it. And now you can move this around independently. In order to access those extract audio files independently, you'll need to click the music button, which will bring up all different audio files, including music when you add it later. So what I did there was I just deleted the video file that the audio went to. Right here, I just extracted another piece of the audio that's from a later portion of that same interview. What I'm doing now is I'm relocating that interview to go towards the end, and I'm keeping that initial part of the interview at the beginning. As you can see, I just moved those extract audio files into the right position so that my interview is going over the right B-roll to correspond with that footage. We're here today promoting Specialist Holthouse. She's been a really valuable member of our team, and I'm really excited to see where her career is going to take her. In order to move these clips around, you just hold the clip down and then move them around as so. What I'm doing right now is I'm moving around all of the different video files so that they sequence in a way that I think tells the story the best. I'm also going through each individual clip and adjusting the volume so that it's lower. When it imports, it automatically imports at 100%, which is pretty loud. So in order to adjust the volume, just click on the clip, click on the volume button, and drag it down. I think 5% to 10% is really as loud as you need to go, with the exception of interview files. So here I'm going to show another example of how to do the extract audio feature within InShot. It can be a little bit tricky once you're learning it initially, but it's pretty easy once you get the hang of it. Okay, as you can see right here, I have selected a clip of Specialist Holthouse and her interview. I've selected volume, and I've clicked extract audio on that file as well. Now I'm going to move that to the place where I want it and to where it makes the most sense. So now that I've done that extract audio, I've gotten rid of the excess video, and I've moved the audio file into the right spot. It looks as though her interview continues seamlessly over the B-roll.
Today I got promoted to a specialist. I am super excited. I've been waiting for this for a while. So this is a really good opportunity for me to learn more.
Once you have your project and you're working on it and you decide you maybe want another video file or you want to add a photo, just click this red plus button and you can always add more footage to your video. So I've already showed you how to adjust your volume, but one other thing to keep in mind is to make sure that you have volume synchronization. You want a nice cohesive flow in your video, so you want all your volume to sound consistent and to be roughly at the same level. That's what I'm doing here as I go through the clips, and I just check to make sure that all of our video files are sounding pretty cohesive. What I'm doing now is I'm going through all these different clips and I'm just doing a final look through to make sure that everything looks and sounds the way I want it. I'm making sure that the timing on the clips isn't too short or too long. I'm making sure the clips aren't too loud or that there's not too much of an abrupt change in footage or volume. One of the last things that you'll do if you choose to in your video project is add music. InShot has quite a few music options to choose from. All you have to do is go to the Add Music button and then scroll down and search for what sounds good. I searched already and found the one that I was looking for. So I'm just going to select that and then press this red download button and then click Use. And then it imports it directly into your clip. Now it's pretty loud upon import, so you're going to want to adjust the volume on that. In order to make it a different volume for the interview, I just split the clip of the music file and then drag them down separately. We're here today promoting Specialist Holt House. She's been a really valuable member of our team, and I'm really excited to see where her career is going to take her. You can also choose to fade in or fade out depending on the scenario, as you can see here. Do what you're supposed to do. As you can see here, I'm just going through the project and making sure that the audio all sounds good together now that the music has been added. One other thing that you can do is fade to black at the end of the video. The way that you'll do that is go into Filter and then click Effect. Within Fade, you'll see the black option. Go ahead and click that and then press the check mark. Once you have all your clips added, all of the volume is synchronized, and you've added your music, it's now time to export your video. You can do that by clicking the Export button on the upper right. All of these settings here, the resolution, the frame rate, and the format, are all reflective of how you shot the original video, so you shouldn't try to change them. Go ahead and click Save. Once it hits 100%, it will automatically save into your photos and videos. You can also choose to upload it through the app, but you'll also have it saved onto your phone. I really hope this helped explain how to use the app and made things a little bit more clear. Now, as with everything, it is going to become a lot easier the more that you use it, so I encourage you to get in there and play around and just try out different things. I hope you enjoy making your own video, and I hope you enjoy watching this video that we made for you as an example of what you can do in InShot. Enjoy. We're here today promoting Specialist Holt House. She's been a really valuable member of our team, and I'm really excited to see where her career is going to take her. She's a good mentor to younger soldiers, and so I'm glad to see her get to the next step in her career.
Today I got promoted to a specialist. I am super excited. I've been waiting for this for a while, so this is a really good opportunity for me to learn more.
It's really important for us to take this time and recognize our soldiers at any level, but I really like seeing the junior soldiers getting promoted and having their time to show how far that they've come in their career. It just takes a couple of moments to highlight them and all the achievements that they've made. I think it's a really good example to other soldiers in the unit and to show what can happen when you get the work done and you do what you're supposed to do.